All right. Hello, 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 hello. It's George F. Grundy II, and we have here
James Mayfield, the greatest Mayfield.
So what we got going on right now is that we're going to go through a journey through James's life. We're going to take a little time, not too much, but we've been gathering everybody else's information, getting their stories, and we got a lot of content that we haven't put out, a lot of stories that we haven't showed, and we just want to display, because I've been telling, I've been interviewed by Miss Sandra, and she's been telling a little bit of my story, or I've been telling her a little bit of my story. But my business partner here and my brother here, I want to get him to get some of his story off of his chest and give you a motivation on why he's doing what he's doing and why we linked up to do this and what his drive is. So no further ado, I'm going to introduce you all to Mr. James Mayfield. How you doing today, Mr. Mayfield?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great tonight. I'm feeling good, and I know this interview we supposed to been got this in.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to do it tonight.
So. Well, this ain't gonna be all. We ain't gonna go through everything because some of the stuff is G4 classified, and we're gonna make sure that you put it out on the right platform under our platform, so it can be epic like it is.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm from Flint. I'm born and raised here in Flint.
Okay, how can you prove that you're from Flint, Michigan? What schools you went to?
I was born at Hurley's Hospital.
Okay.
No, I went to a lot of the schools. I went to Cook. I went to Dory Ryder. I went to Whittier. I went to Central. I went to Northern. I went to the School of Choice. I went to the Kennedy Center. I've been to a lot of places, and I found myself fighting a lot because, I was dark-skinned and I had good hair, and I smiled a lot. I was always in good spirit, no matter what I had going on, so people wanted to try me. So I ended up fighting a lot and moving around to a lot of different schools.
Okay. So outside of, just being, I guess, bullied or teased or antagonized, how was your upbringing? What was your house like? Did you have a nuclear family, your mother and father in the home, and
Yeah, I did have a nuclear family for. I guess I had a mother and a father in the home. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, your mother and father in the home, but you. So what got you? I guess what caused you to be aggressive in the school system besides just people teasing you?
It probably was a lot of different things that I was dealing with. I didn't have some of the nicest clothes. When I was younger. At certain points in my life, I wasn't eating the best. You know what I'm saying? I had to fend for myself and having to. I remember going to school most of the time because I wanted to eat. It wasn't that I didn't have a drive to learn, but I knew I can get some food, and eat while I'm at school. So, and then just other little things. You never know what people be going through.
So even though you had a mother and father in the home, it wasn't the best circumstances in the home.
No, it wasn't the best circumstances.
Okay. Now, what did you love about school, or did you love school? What was it did you love growing up? What was your motivation about life back then? What made you happy? What motivated you? Was it school? Was it something about, being home? Or
well, I would say it was just the lifestyle I had came up in. Seeing everything that I saw, I was really interested in, I would say, the drug game. Seeing that, I was interested in it. I was interested in money and seeing people get money and the drive and the way that people attained it that was around me.
So you went from school to the streets real fast. Now explain that.
So when you go to school, you go to school and you deal with the people in school. But when you come home, some people got a different lifestyle. So when I went home, it was almost like I saw a lot of things in my home and a lot of things in the streets when I wasn't at school. that I kind of gravitated with. I kind of really thought a lot of the stuff that I was seeing was normal.
Mm.
You know, it was I normalized it. So seeing people, you know, getting money, coming to the house, making money, seeing people come in and give me money, you know what I'm saying? And it was just the idea of watching it at an early age, and I'm looking like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to get money. I want to have nice stuff.
So the thing that you wanted, the thing that caused or created the options and opportunities for people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah,
okay.
At an early age, yeah, I wanted it because I saw it. I was around it.
Yeah. Now, were you a good student? Were you getting good grades? How did that work?
Nah, I wasn't. It wasn't that I couldn't learn and I didn't know the stuff. It was just pretty much I just didn't care.
Mm.
I didn't have no drive. I didn't have no love for school. I didn't have no love for it. You know, it was a few teachers I met that probably understood me and might have kind of had an increment of what I was going through because they're kind of trained to see that stuff or
Right.
to see the troubled student. So it's been a few teachers that came along that I kind of liked it. And I dealt with people. I had a few friends, but I was kind of like an introvert. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? At a younger age, as I got older, you know, I got broke in and I was a little bit more social.
Okay. Did you play sports in school?
I wrestled, so I was pretty good in wrestling. I wrestled a little bit in high school, but I wrestled a lot when I was at Whittier. And I remember Whittier winning the medals that I won for wrestling, that I had people that wanted me to come wrestle for them. And one of them was Northern, so I went and wrestled for a little bit for Northern.
Okay.
But then I wrestled a little bit for Beecher, and then I just got out of it. It wasn't really for me. I liked it when I was younger, 8th grade before I went. But then after that, it was like it kind of fizzled out for me.
Okay.
So
wrestling was your sport?
Yeah, wrestling was my sport, yeah.
For a little while?
For a little while.
So no football, no basketball?
I tried football, but I didn't really like it. I mean, I wasn't really that talented in it, so wrestling was just it for me. Never played basketball, really, so.
Yeah. Now, did you have anybody pushing you to accomplish in school?
Not really. I mean, you know, you go home, you got parents, they want you to do good in school, but, you know, at the same time, you know, it's like it wasn't really no push. I would get in trouble. I would get punishments. I would get whoopings for getting kicked out and being a trouble child, but it was just going one ear and out the other.
Mm.
So I didn't really have no drive for it. And even though, however, how much I got yelled at or beat, I didn't really care.
Okay. So and this is all up to you, but you know, you sound like just a regular American kid going through life trying to figure it out. Is there anything that kind of separates your journey to say that may have put you on the trajectory that you weren't supposed to recover from?
Well, yeah, a few different things. You know, it was very dysfunctional at home most of the time. You know, as much as I can remember.
I'm saying even earlier than that. Say like your beginning when you was born at Hurley.
Oh yeah. So when I was born, so for the people who do know me and I do share what I was born cross addicted.
Now what does that mean?
That means when I was born I was cross addicted to cocaine and heroin. That's what they found in my system. So from what was told to me, I came out a purplish blue color, and they had to actually give me the drugs to keep me alive, to wing me up off of them. Mm. That's what I was told. So so when I went home from the hospital, I didn't go home with my mother. I went home with my auntie. And that was like from my understanding, a 2-week struggle, back and forth court arguments until they finally let me go home with my auntie. So I stayed with her for a while. I'm not sure how long, but I was eventually, my parents and them got it together and I was able to go back home with them.
Okay. So you had a rugged beginning.
Rugged beginning, yeah.
And I'm sure that there was probably a mortality rate on there, or the likelihood of you surviving was probably not that high.
It possibly was something we probably have to check into.
Look into and see what it was.
Possibly.
But yeah, so that changes a lot of things. People can have issues and go through life and have I guess personality issues or emotional issues, and just like they're mad at stuff. But in my opinion, your start created something that you didn't create to yourself, or that you had to fight. You came out fighting.
Yeah.
And
right.
so that fighting probably continued because you were trying to figure out the rest of your life based on some of the things you said you had to deal with when you were going from school to home. And so I think it's admirable that, as I know you now, that you've come through all of that to who you are now. That journey to me is amazing, you know, and I commend you on that. At taking that, and we're gonna go into the story on why I say commend you on it, because what happened after you got out of school, or when did you, I guess, in a sense, become a man, where you were like, I got to do for self?
Actually, while I was in school. So you know, while I was in school, I can't remember the exact year or the exact age, but I wonder if I could say anything. I would say about maybe 8, 9.
That's pretty young.
To the point to where, you know, I remember we used to stay on Odette Street here in Flint, Michigan. We stayed in an apartment. And then I had this uncle named Jew. He used to work at the car wash, junior car wash. And, you know, Jew was Jew. You know what I'm saying? He just dressed the way he dressed. He was just my uncle. He was one of my favorite uncles. And he stayed with us. And we all stayed in this 2-bedroom apartment, real small. And I can remember some days going up to D&H, which was right at the corner of King and McClellan.
Right.
King and Hamilton. My fault, King and Hamilton. And when I would get up there in the evenings, I'd get out of school and he'd get off work about 5 from the car wash. He'd get there and we'd go up there about 6:37, and I would stand in front of the store and I would beg people for change as they came in.
What you mean beg them for change?
Like ask them. Like, so let's say you get out the car and I see you and I'd be like, hey, bro, you got something I can hold when you come up out of there? You look out for me?
At 8 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would either come out the store and either buy me something, juice pop or whatever, or give me some money. So it was a hustle for me. So, you know, after I make the first money, I buy him a drink. That was his thing. Drink Night Train, Mad Dog 2020, whatever he wanted to drink. And I would give it to him. And then the rest of the money I made, you know what I'm saying, if I made it on time, I can get up there to Hinky Dinky because they sold hot food then.
Oh, okay.
Up the street. So we would walk up the street and I'd get us some food. And then if I did real good, I have enough for a couple of days and I wouldn't have to go back out. Because sometimes people would come out and give me $5, $20, $3, $4, 50 cents. You know, back then, that money went a long way. We talking about, I'm 41 now, so I was 8 now. We talking about 30-something years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, so at an early age, I was hustling, getting money, and taking care of myself. So it started at a real young age, me wanting it.
Okay. Yeah, you had to get it. So that's 8 years old. Now fast forward. What you graduate? Did you graduate high school?
No, actually, I didn't graduate high school. I got kicked out. I stopped going. Started getting money.
How old were you when you stopped going?
I think the last time I remember going to school, it might have been Zimmerman Center. And I might have been maybe 10th grade, maybe. But, you know,
go on your restream, too, so you can see the comments. Okay. Because we got T Sales. He locking in right now. He listening to what's going on.
Oh, okay, then. Okay. Yeah. So, Zimmerman. 10th grade. So I ended up getting a GED.
Okay.
You know, so.
Well, you did. At least you got your GED.
That's I got a GED. So, you know, and the only reason I got that is through incarceration. I started in boot camp.
Oh.
Working on it, and then when I got out, I was on tether at New Path. That's how I met Mr. Kennedy, Trudell.
Okay.
Yeah. He was working.
Shout out to Trudell Kennedy.
Shout out to Trudell. Yeah. And then so finished it up in New Path, got my GED, but I probably would have never got it if I wasn't in a position where they forced me to get it. It wasn't like I was trying to go get it.
Okay.
It was just, that was the opportunity, you know, in New Path to finish it up. So I finished it and got it in there.
Okay. So after that, after your stint in New Path and gathering your GED, what was going on with you?
So we got to rewind it.
Okay.
We got to rewind it. You know, we got to go back because It's a
So
few
hold
things we
up,
left out for the people.
because since you live, you know, you getting interaction.
Yeah, but we
So-
can do that at the end. We can read all of them. I just want to.
He said we used to stick up the hostess store on Carpenter at 10 years old, and my best friend tell the struggle. My boy, this is Quan Chan, and then T Cell saying he got his GD in the joint too.
Yeah. So kind of backing up, you know, when I was younger, so the ages I can't tell you, I can't remember exactly, but I remember the police coming around a lot and me, you know, for raids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like different houses, 'cause we moved around a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then different raids, and then I started to become to know some of the police officers from coming to the houses when we was getting raided. And this one particular raid, they said, you know, you got to go to foster care. So, you know, I started going to foster cares, and my whole idea was it was like they had me in Bad Axe, Michigan. They had me in Marquette, Michigan, Saginaw, Lapeer, Fenton. And my whole thing was like, I'm going to keep acting out. And then ain't nowhere else for me to go but home. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
So you was trying to get back home by any means necessary. And you thought that means was just to act up until they didn't want you no more.
They just kept moving me to different families, white fam, black fam, Mexican fam. And I'm like, I'm not about to stay. So eventually, you know, I never forget, my worker came and picked me up one day. And she like, hey, James, I'll take you to this other home. I'm like, cool, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we stopped by St. Vincent's. And that's in Saginaw. So that's a lockup facility.
Okay.
And she pulled up to the front of it, and they had this little sliding gate, and you could tell it was I read the sign, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? She was like, I'm about to get ready to pick somebody up. They going to the home with you, you know. She's like, you want to go on in? I'm like, no, I'm straight. I'm going to stay out here. I'll wait for you to go and take care of your business. I don't want to go in. Wow. So the gate opened up. We went in there. She was like, you sure you don't want to? She's like, come on in. I said, all right, fuck it. Got out the car, went on in. As soon as I went in, take your shoes off. They started screaming and all that. So she just set me up. So now I'm in there for about a year. Lockup facility, doing groups, all type of crazy stuff. So then when I
how old were you?
I can't, you know what?
Approximately.
14, 15, something like that. 14, 15.
So real influential time in your life.
Yeah. So you know, leave there, St. Vincent's, and go to a children's home, a boys' home, in Redford, Michigan, called Methodist Children's Home, and was in there for a couple of years.
For a couple of years?
Yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple of years, you know. Stayed up in that joint for a minute and finally came home. Finally got released to there and I was come home. So when I came home, I think by then it was about time for ninth grade or something like that, you know.
Okay.
Went back to the same auntie that took me in when I was a child because she's always been supportive of me. Shout out Christine Hawthorne. So, yeah. That's why I wanted to bag it up because I just felt like people needed to know that what I went through with foster cares, lockup facilities, and a boys' home. You know, so
right.
We didn't want to leave that out. So going back to what you was talking about and what you asked me, I get home, I go back find my parents. You know what I'm saying? Start hustling with them.
What you mean?
Getting money with my mama and my daddy.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
Wow.
It was a family thing. So that worked out good. I was good at what I did. You know what I'm saying? We was good at what we did, the whole family. So that worked out to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? I was able to do what I needed to do. And, you know, people who know, they know. You know, I've been here all my life, so, you know, they know. Ain't too much got to be said about that, you know. Found myself in some situations and some predicaments. Ended up with 3 state cases, 1 federal case. Never told on nobody. And ain't never go to prison. I like to say, you know, either I had a lawyer or the Lord was just blessing me. Because a lot of things that I got into, you know what I'm saying, it was just a blessing, my whole ordeal. Never been shot at. Never been robbed, never been none of that shit. I ain't deal with that type of stuff. I just was blessed, and then, you know, not to be cocky, and then I just think I was a little bit smarter than a lot of people.
Say that an average bear, huh?
Yeah, I was a lot smarter than the average bear, but you know, I would have police. They would tell me that. They would say that. That's what they said. The Mayfields are smart. You know what I'm saying? They was never able to, get my daddy like they wanted to, or me. So it was the Lord blessing me. That's all I can say.
Gotcha. So dealing with that, when did the transition to doing something different happen?
So it had to be.
So and since you said you didn't have any major issues to kind of like wake up calls, what caused you even want to change situations?
Well, we go back 8 years ago.
Okay.
So 8 years ago. So the thing about the streets, what people don't understand, you have these ups and downs. Some people do. It's like you'll have it, then you'll fall back down. You'll climb back up, and you'll fall back down. And my whole thing is, one day I started sitting down thinking about, like, I ain't rich right now. I can't hold on to the money stuff always happening. There's always something happening in the game. And it's like the risk start outweighing the reward. And I'm looking like I done stints in jail, a year here, 6 months here, boot camp, tether, all of this stuff, new path. And I'm like, man, I don't really like being locked up. Like, it ain't worth it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about it, what we take for granted when we get locked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? What you can eat, what time you got to go to sleep, what time you got to wake up. I mean, that wasn't really for me. And then I got to thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? I need to do some other stuff. So I was talking to my father about it, and he was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. You need to do something else. You know what I'm saying? I done showed you all this and taught you, we done did all of this. Now it's time for you to do something different, man, because this will, too, come to an end one day. I said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be a general contractor or something. Let me get it. So he said, I'll look out and keep you above water till you figure it out. And I said, cool. So I enrolled in MudINC, started going to school.
Okay.
So this 8 years ago, but yeah, I enrolled in MudINC, started going to school, but I was dealing with a case before I enrolled in there, a federal case, but I didn't know I was going to get indicted. You know what I'm saying? You don't never know when the Fed's coming. You know what I'm saying?
So it's you saying that, we live, so people got questions.
Yeah, they got questions.
How you had 3 cases and never went to the joint?
Okay, so my first case that I caught they were calling it an attempt CCW. I don't know where that came up with, but they was calling it attempt CCW. And I left New Path on that case, caught a drug case. They ran them 2 concurrent.
Okay.
Sent me to boot camp. I did a year in the county. Sent me to boot camp. Did tether. Did probation. That's 2 cases. Now the third case, they didn't really have no evidence. I fought them for 2 years. I had David Grant retained. I had David Grant as a lawyer. So
you beat the indictment?
No. I got charged with I'm talking about the state cases now.
That was just the question that came. They heard that.
No, I didn't beat the indictment. I got a plea 13 agreement. And they gave me 2 years probation. I did a year because I was in school. So after a year, I was doing so good. I was a vice president of International Society. I was killing it, Dean's List and all that. So they actually cut me off. Probation in a year. But whoever asking these questions, whatever y'all want to know, y'all can Google me. You know what I'm saying? It's public information. You can check it out. So, But like I said, I was blessed. So, yeah, I ain't never go to the joint. Third case, they gave me 2 years probation because they didn't really have a case. Okay. And I had David Grant paid off. So, we went through that we fought them for about a year and a half. That's the third one.
Gotcha. Now, it's saying the feds have a 99% conviction rate, and David Grant got me sent to the joint.
Well, David Grant wasn't on my Fed case. I said on my third state case. I didn't have David Grant on my federal case. Actually, I had a federal court appointed lawyer because there's no need to pay for no lawyer when the feds come. So whoever asking them questions, I got my discovery packet, so I think I know who it might be. When you get some time, we'll sit down. We'll go through that.
Okay, so you say you got your paperwork, so you ain't.
Yeah, I got my paperwork. Yeah. So whoever got questions about some shit like that, we can sit down and we can discuss that.
Gotcha.
And that
So
can be pointed out. Paperwork can be read. You can see the evidence. You can see the discovery. You can see all of that stuff and put it together. So it's all good.
You saying you never told.
Never. On who? I wasn't fucking with niggas. These niggas out here don't. I wasn't fucking with these niggas like that.
Gotcha. So you stay solid. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward from that because we don't want to stay in the space that you got through. You got through that. Life was what it was. It dealt you a hand. And then you changed the hand it dealt you. Got in school. Now, you going through all this stuff. That had to be a lot of stress and pressure, trying to figure out how to change your life while they trying to change your life.
Yeah. It was cool, man. I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Started going to school. Started loving to learn. Became a collegiate scholar. Started getting degrees.
So how did you know that you was, I guess, smart? Like when did it hit that like you go from running through all these schools and
I knew I was smart when I was in the boys' home because I was locked up and I was going to Redford High. They let me go out to the college. They let me go out to the school and actually go from where I was at. And 1 year for my GPA, I got a 4.2 GPA.
Okay.
And so once I got that, my uncle and them couldn't really believe because I couldn't believe because I ain't never saw nobody get it. I knew of a 4.0, but I actually had got a 4.2. That was my GPA.
Okay.
And so it was like then I knew that I was smart then, that I was extremely smart. Once I pulled that off, I just wasn't applying myself.
Okay. So college come, and you in college, you became a scholar. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean, collegiate scholar?
That means that me coming out of Mott Community College in Northwood, that I'm recognized and I'm in the books with people that went to Yale, Harvard, the Ivy Leagues. Like
Okay.
my name is in the books with them. So it's James Mayfield, my college, and it might be George Grundy.
No, I ain't in there.
I'm just saying
I get
just
it.
with this different names.
I got a lot to do to become a collegiate scholar. I ain't there. You know, so you earned it, you got it. Hey.
That's just basically recognized from Washington, D.C. of you being an outstanding student.
Yeah.
That's basically all it is.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome. So, I don't know. I think these questions got me. Yeah. So you go from there. Now what's going on? So what is it that keeps you away from going back to what you were used to? I'm saying you just go to school and that's it. It's like, oh no, I'll never go back to the game. This is it. I
made a promise to my old man before he died.
I'm gonna do this.
I made a promise to my old man before he died.
Okay.
He OD'd my second semester.
What? So
I told him, I would never go back, and I stood on that.
Okay.
I told him I was gonna get the degrees I got. I told him I was gonna get a 4.0s, and I dedicated the semester when I did for that. So a lot of it I did with being a man of my word or what I told him.
Told your old man, your father.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the motivation and the drive to continue to fly straight.
So you go to school. What do you go to school for? What is it that the education you got?
I started off as I got a certificate in building construction technology. That's what I started off at. Then I got one in business and general studies. Then went to Northwood, got a bachelor's degree in business administration with a focus in management. Left there, went to Regent University online, got a master's in government with a concentration in law and public policy. Left there, went to Northern Michigan University and got a degree in cannabis law and policy. Then I just started just chilling and doing self-development.
Okay.
Working on myself.
That's interesting. And I know we being real, like, there's a lot of stuff in between all that that I know you're going to have for your book and stuff and your Netflix miniseries.
Well, whatever come of it.
The Out of the Mud miniseries.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's an amazing story, man, to me.
So now we here. So what's some more of them questions? We got some more people participating with that.
Oh, man, you look, I'll let you go since you ain't going to pull it up on your phone.
Nah, I had him in the States. feds I use, they court appointed. My niggas solid, and they real street nigga, and trust me, I know no dude 100. I'm glad you made it through the storm, though. Academic scholar, God is the greatest. Stood on business. Let me go back some more. David Grant got me sent to the joint. He probably got a lot of people sent to the joints. Yeah, the feds got a 99% conviction rate. Yes, you are right, and they convicted me. I got convicted. I just got probation. I ain't go to trial and I ain't beat them. Let me see. We had fun with money. Yeah. You had 3 cases and never went to the joint. Yep, you got damn right I didn't. I like to say I'm smart. People get mad when I tell them that, but I can explain it because it's the truth, it's the real. Like I said, it's just certain things that the way shit happened, it was just in my benefit and in my favor. You know what I'm saying? I've been through a lot. Okay, damn. I got my GED in the joint. We talking about the struggle. Yeah, we is, Q. We talking about the struggle. We used to stand up at the hostess store at Carpenter at 10 years old. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what's up.
Now you got to go the other way. Because you got something coming. You got to go down because you got more coming.
Okay, so proud of you. Beat the odds. I went to the joint on my first case. Well, you know, everybody different, Scales. You know what I'm saying? You probably did. A lot of people probably went on their first thing. It's just, you know, what I put it like this: what the Lord got for me, what He got for me. You might have had to go because of your circumstances. Everybody ain't the same. It's like Lady Justice is blind. You know, she got a blindfold. You know, so it's like some people done caught cases and went to prison for the rest of their life and never got out and still in there now. Everybody is different. So yeah, I feel you on that.
I got family that's been in there over 40 years.
Yeah, so it's just different. It's just circumstances was different for me in certain things that I partook in. I just was blessed. It was just a way. It was. I don't know. It just happened. But like I said, I'm solid. Everybody know it. Check it out. You ain't gonna find nobody pulling up on you with no paperwork, none of that shit. I'm just a solid ass nigga. I was just blessed. That's just what it is. And I'm gonna continue to be a solid ass nigga. So anything a person want to have a dialogue on, we can do that.
He said prison actually saved his life.
It might, and it do. And some of the smartest people in prison, and some of the smartest people get out and make some moves. And I mean, when they get out of prison, you gotta sit there. You got a lot of time to think.
So this is my thing. Being that would you have made a different decision if you knew something different besides getting into the family business?
You never know. I don't know.
So, you know how people say,
yeah, if
I knew I would have did different. So
I couldn't say that. And you know what? I wouldn't take back nothing I've been through because it made me the man I am today. I might have needed to go through that. I might see. That's why that's where we get to this out of the mud. That's where this out of the mud concept comes from, because it don't matter where you came from. Everybody done been through some rut. Motherfuckers done been through some shit, and we got to figure out how to get out of the mud. And I had to figure out how to get out of the mud. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like this is what I look at. I done been as low as you can be. I done been homeless. I done lived in abandoned houses. I ain't never ate out of no trash because here in Flint we had the mission. We had the soup kitchen. We had the church. We had the donut house. We had the sandwich house.
Let's give the big ups to at least the structure of Flint, to where people can get food. They can't go to the soup kitchen. And can go to
Carriagetown
and
my only gripe about that, I ain't gonna lie, I love the Lord, but I just did not listen to that sermon. But I had to listen to it to eat, so it's all good. You had to listen to it to eat. That's where we got dinner at. Yeah, the Carriagetown mission. Sometimes it got rough. First, you had to get out there, and you cannot eat. You had to listen to the service, and it's at least an hour on a good, and that's on the low end, an hour to an hour and 20 minutes after you heard that service. You can go and eat, but
So
you
you was
couldn't do
extra hungry after the service.
Man, yeah, but you got to figure out. But it was ways to space it out because you had the donut house in the morning.
Okay.
You go get you a donut. You had the sandwich house about 12 o'clock in the afternoon where you can get a sandwich. And then, you had the soup kitchen about 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And then in the evenings about 7 o'clock, 7:30, you had that. So then you still had donuts left. You might still have a sandwich left. So it worked out. Then, you got the welfare at the crib. You got the white can, the peanut butter there, the big ass blocks of cheese. Come on, can I get an amen? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all know it's actually prison.
Yeah, so.
And you had and my auntie said, and I had a praying auntie. Sandwich house on Root Street. Yeah, you know Scales. Yeah. So I was like the Kitchener Stewart. Yeah, the Kitchener Stewart. Carriagetown on Garland, yeah. But it got real on Saturdays because the School of Choice had food. And they had a breakfast. And then on Sundays, we was downtown at the church, the First Corinthian. I mean, however you pronounce it. We was down here at that church on
First
Sunday.
Presbyterian.
They had the great breakfast. Yeah, so it was always something to do, like every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Sales know you'd have been there, huh, Sales? You know all the addresses. That's what's up, though.
Yeah, but it was funny. You said you waiting the sermon.
Because you couldn't eat at the mission until you heard the word. And just see like they would lock the doors.
But did it help? Do you think it helped?
I mean, you hungry,
or were you too hungry to hear it?
I mean, you hungry, you hearing it, but you like, I'm trying to eat. Like, thank you, Lord, for this food type stuff.
But it's almost like torture.
Kind of, because you can't eat until you hear the word.
Wow. And
then you got to imagine, sometimes people hungry. Sometimes, it's like, sometimes you didn't want to eat what the sandwich house was giving you. Sometimes, you'll go in the soup kitchen or somewhere like that, but you might not want what they making that day. Or you might taste it, and it might taste like slop, or the people didn't cook it right. I mean, everything wasn't fired there. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got to figure it's free, so people in there just putting stuff together, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then, school helped out a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it just depends, man. But yeah. Let me see what else on here. But $250 a month, $125 every 2 weeks. You talking about the food stamp things, my guy? Talking about the food stamp packets with the cash? Yeah. But yeah, so, like I said, I wouldn't take none of it back, man. It made me the person I am today. It made me strong. It gave me the grit. It gave me everything that I need to keep on climbing this mountain and going to the top.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
now we fast forward into right now. How do we meet?
I met you through Big G, and I want to say, what was it, last summer?
Something like Big G. Now who's Big? George Cooper?
George Cooper.
Shout out to Big G. George Cooper.
George Cooper, yeah. I had met you previously, like a year and a half before, and we had a conversation at G House, and we were just talking about some certain things, but we never really followed up nothing.
We crossed paths because we know George.
Yeah, so y'all invited me over this summer, and we got to talking, and we hit it off talking about doing Out of the Mud was just a dream this summer. That's all it was. It was a conversation over some cigars, some liquor, some gentlemen I had never met before, and it was a good vibe, a cool summer night. You know what I'm saying? We were sitting in front of Big G House, line chairs was out there, and it was just it was a vibe. It was a cool vibe, and I don't really be dealing with people. And a lot of people who know me know I don't really even deal with people. I always been to myself. You see me even to this day when you see me most of the time. If I ain't with my wife or one of my kids, I'm by myself. Like that's how I always been. That's probably another reason why I ain't go to prison. I ain't never had no co-defendants. You know what I'm saying? It was just me, and I ain't gonna tell on myself. You know what I'm saying? That might have been something that saved me. He said, shout out to Boston George. What the hell you talking about? Taught you how to make different choices and be grateful. Yeah. He said, shout out to Boston George. Okay, then. Yeah, so that type of stuff, man. But
so we met through Big G.
Big G.
And then we just had a few conversations about.
And then you take over the story from there.
What is still your story?
But I'm just saying, with the big G part, you can't take over my story, but the big G part, because I told you, that's how we met. The conversation about Out of the Mud. Well, it wasn't even Out of the Mud. It was just a podcast. We had
just the idea of doing media, doing something in media, social media, and media company. So for me, I believe that the juncture came when, even though we from two different sides of the spectrum, it was just the struggle of getting to a certain point, and then the issue looks the same. Yeah. And we like, why are we fighting the same battle? And then we talking to other folks, and they hit that same wall or that same battle, and it's like it just don't make sense. Yeah. So it's like, well, we came to a collective thought to create something that we create our standard in our circumstance, and don't allow anybody to create our narrative. We create our own.
Yeah. So now we here with Out of the Mud. We on all type of stuff, man. Y'all just keep watching.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff we just not seeing.
We about to keep growing. I just had to get a little bit of my story out. To get a lot deeper than that, but that's just like a graze over it. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get this book together. Hopefully, everything work out. I just be getting that book up out here soon, so people can really, dig off into it.
And let me say this too, and you can speak on it if you want. So since I've been in collaboration with this guy, he's been solid with me. Like I'm a extremely paranoid person, in the sense of like, even though I didn't come up and I wasn't off the porch like that, I still grew up here. So it was a lot of different scenarios and things, real life scenarios that I was a part of and in. And I had to, if I make it to the 13th of June, I'll be 47. It took a lot of maneuvering just to make it to this point. So he been solid with me. And any question that I have that most people might seem paranoid of, but he get it from the perspective of he understand where it's coming from because of real life. You can't ignore those things. Even though you move past it and you grow and you try to do more and better, you still have these things, these lessons that you learn. And what to me is solid is that, okay, we had these conversations. He see the perspective I'm coming from because he understand it, and he don't get sideways about it. We talk about stuff. He could tell me, talk about whatever. We don't, everything ain't no pretty conversation, but we've been through so much stuff. It ain't got to be a pretty conversation as long as we get to the point of where we need to do. And that's why, for me, can't nobody tell me nothing about him, period.
That's what's up.
So
I just try to I just try to be who I am, man. I'm just I don't think it's too many people that can really say too much bad about me out here on some for real stuff, man. I kept it real, man. OG, done what I had to do. Hey, it is what it is. If you know, you know. People who know, they know. That's all that really need to be said about that. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some great things with Out of the Mud and some other stuff. We got me and G got brewing. And what I liked it about him, when I met G, I was like, man, you know what? He different. It's like, well, see, when my father died, that was my man's. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I was like, I would never get into business with nobody else. Even though we was in the business that we was in, I was pretty much like, I'm going to do everything by myself. Because I got so far in life, I ain't going to lie, by myself doing stuff. But as I got to doing self-development and learning, I knew that for me to go to a whole nother level, I'm going to need other people to help me. And when I got to talking to George and we got to collaborating and talking about stuff, I usually feel bad vibes with people. That's why I don't really fuck with a lot of people. I done had so much, done so much stuff to where I feel like when I would interact with people, I would get that bad vibe and go the other way. So I stopped doing it after a while because it wasn't even worth it to me because people wasn't even in the same mind frame that I was in. I couldn't even kick it with certain people because they didn't have the intellect and they wasn't on when I was on. And when I'm talking to Troy, I'm looking like, man, look, he understands me. He understands what needs to be done. And I was like, you know what? When I looked and I didn't get that bad vibe. Sometimes you could feel badness, or you could feel a bad aura, a bad vibe from a person. I never felt this from this man. Even sometimes like he said, we had conversations. He might ask me about something, I might ask him about something. We never get sideways with each other. We both listen to each other, and we figure out how to work it out. And we be as transparent as possible with each other. And I think that's why we click, because it's like he said, he done been in situations, I done been in situations with people, and it's like some of the things that I didn't notice with other people, I don't notice with him. Like, we could talk about something and disagree, but it's not like a disagree that you would see from normal society. It's not like a
ain't no
sideways, or it'd be almost like, okay, I feel you on that, and then it'd be almost like an explanation from both of it. Well, this is why I did this, and it's up to me or him to take that in and be like, you know what? Okay, I understand. That makes sense to me. You didn't freeze up on me. You didn't get sideways. I didn't catch you in no lie about it.
That part.
It was real. So I mean, I got to roll with that, because that's better than what I ever got. So I commend George on that. That's why I believe we're gonna be great business partners, and we're gonna scale and do what we got to do, and make history.
Period.
Out of the mud.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to make history too, y'all gotta subscribe to Out of the Mud. Y'all can make history.
Like,
too.
share, and subscribe.
Like, share. We finna to get it in, man. It's finna to blow.
Some people just don't realize. They just don't realize.
Yeah, they don't realize, man.
We trying to told y'all.
We tried to tell y'all, but y'all gonna see though. And I'm not trying to be funny. And I say this about everything that I do in life. Everything that these hands touch turns to gold. And that's on the real. Whatever I put my mind or put my energy into doing, I always get the maximum out of it. And if you know, you know. For anybody that anything I do, anybody who know me, if I sit up there, James Mayfield tell you he about to do something, he lock in, it's over.
And just like he said, those that know, they know. You seen the work I put in. It's out there. You can Google it. You can see it on mostly every news outlet. Look, it can't stop us. We the dream team. We the dream team. That's it. And we ain't hating on nobody. We want everybody to make it. Now we can't make everybody make it, but we want everybody to make it. And so we the dream team. We doing the thing. We ain't got no hate for nobody. We just doing what we need to do to make it happen. And like Sale said, RIP to D-Ski.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto. And then he said, so he also met you through George.
And George Cooper is a huge man. Look, hey,
that's me right now. I built my empire by
that's
myself.
my little brother.
That's
George Cooper is my little brother, and I'll get some kind of way about him.
You're right. He said, I built my empire by myself, and that's what's up. He said, niggas will let you down all the time because most niggas have female tendencies. You goddamn right. But I can say about George, as far as our business endeavors, I ain't saw no female tendencies in my man. He been solid with me. Just to even have them dialogues and conversations and disagreements to handle him like that, because he military minded. I'm Flint, Michigan minded, so
Yeah.
And like he say, we the hinge.
Yeah, hey,
so,
the hinges. That's a story for another day. Yeah, we the hinge.
Say we the hinge.
Yeah.
My book out now. Okay, my story out now on Amazon. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I got 50% of the company already. Who company? You got 50% Out of the Mud. But you know what? You can buy some shares, my guy.
We getting in position so we can.
Position to buy shares with a minimum of 10,000. We don't even want to talk to you unless you got 10 bands, and that's a minimum. But we'll disclose more of that later.
We're working all that out.
Yeah, 10 bands. You can't even talk to Out of the Mud about a percentage of nothing in this multi-billion-dollar company.
And we like to end the conversation on that. And this has been a production of Out of the Mud Incorporated with George of Grundy II and
The greatest Mayfield, James Mayfield.